Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is JohnJake gaming on the mic, coming at you with the USBL here on MLB The Show 21 on the PS5, and we got a historic day for you guys here. We have the first ever opening day for the United States Baseball League, and we also have our first game on our hands as well. The Baltimore Stone Crabs going on the road to play against the Boston Quakers, and the Boston Quakers are going to be trotting out one of the younger #1 pitchers in the league, J.C. Cloney. So there's going to be a lot of good, high-quality USBL action for you guys here today, as we don't have to wait very long for the very first run scored in USBL history. Nick Solek hits a solo shot, and it's going to be the first run scored of USBL history. But J.C. Cloney does end up, calming down just a little bit, does get rid of the rest of the batters, in place. But Nick Solek, man, not wasting too much time at all, taking an early 1-0 lead for the Baltimore Stone Crabs. As we now go ahead and move to the top of the second inning, as we have another home run. Oh my goodness, we might... this Baltimore Stone Crabs offense, to a degree, is just simply waking up and choosing violence, as Ryan Braun is going to go ahead. He's going to hit a solo shot here, as well as we're going to go ahead and see, J.C. Cloney's in a little bit of trouble. Bases end up getting loaded, but he does find a way to figure out, how to get out of the inning. Nick Solek grounds into a ground out, to the shortstop. But the Stone Crabs, they're taking a 2-0 lead, and that's a dangerous game to play with as well, with Justin Verlander on the mound as well, one of the better pitchers in the USBL, despite his advanced age, as Edwin Rios is now at the plate, his first at-bat of the season, but he's going to end up striking out. Well, no, actually not striking out. There was actually a stolen base, thanks to a wild pitch. Edwin Rios does end up getting grounded out there, as we got 2 outs, a man on second base, as Yasmel Grandal is going to come up to the plate now, see if Boston can go ahead and get the first runs of this game. But no, sir, that's not going to happen here. Justin Verlander, making the out to the first baseman, and the Stone Crabs still holding on to that 2-0 lead for the time being. As we now move to the top of the third inning, see if the Stone Crabs can go ahead and build this lead a little bit. But J.C. Cloney not having any of it, though. He gets his first strikeout in USBL history, so congratulations to him. And, even the Boston Quakers on offense, they're starting to get something going here. Managed to load the bases up on Justin Verlander. There's going to end up being a fly out to the right fielder. But that being said, we are going to see the first run scored in this ball game, and the Quakers are, cut the lead in half thanks to that, as that does bring up Mookie Betts with the opportunity to go ahead and at least tie this game at the very least. Instead, why not tie it when you can go ahead and take the lead right here, right now? 3-run home run for Mookie Betts. And what a time to get the first home run of the season, as it also gives the Quakers the first lead of the year, as Paul Jajong now going to go ahead and go to the plate a couple batters later. Isn't going to be able to add on to this lead at all, as he grounds out to the third baseman. But man, oh man, the bat of Mookie Betts really giving the Boston Quakers an advantage, despite having half as many hits as the Baltimore Stone Crabs. Shows that anything can change with just one swing of the bat. As we now move to the bottom of the fourth inning, Gregory Polanco now coming up, 2-2 count, man on second base. The pitch strikes him out as well. Justin Verlander, still has the ability to strike out guys with relative ease, as the the Quakers, they had some people on base, even in scoring position, but it didn't work out for them though. As we now go to the bottom of the fifth inning, going to be a nice, at least multi-base hit out to left field. Not at least able to get it in quickly, but a nice extra base hit though, as it now gets a man on the second base. And actually, they're going to knock out Justin Verlander out of the game, as Baltimore is actually going to go ahead and make a pitching change now. Dylan File now going to go into the game as he's going to go ahead and face Ball Jajong. 2 outs here, runner on first and second base, and gets the friendly call as Ball Jajong with a man on first and second base. He's going to go ahead and strike out as well. And so for the time being, it still remains a 4-2 game. As JC Clowney in his USBL debut, he's still rocking and rolling here as well, getting the strikeout on Myers. He's doing good work, man. After, the first couple of innings, it was a little rough in the beginning, but he's really settling in. And so is this Quakers team, as Edwin Reyes is going to take this out to left center field, and that's going to be a home run once again. The third home run for the Boston Quakers on opening day. You absolutely love to see it, and make it number 4. Gregory Polanco sending this one out to the moon and back. What a home run shot for Gregory Polanco. That goes for 418 feet. So 2 home runs in this inning for the Boston Quakers. 4 home runs total on the day, as they do end up getting out of the inning though. A fly out ends the 6th inning for the Boston Quakers, but really extending this lead now going up 6-2. As the Stone Crabs, they're now kind of struggling to get anything going on offense, so now they send out Paul Sewald here in the bottom of the 7th inning, see if things can improve a little bit, as Jose Iglesias comes up to bat, and he's gonna strike him out. Now I'm going to go ahead and face Mac Muncy, who's currently 0 for 2 on the day, as well as we got a steal-based opportunity and gets it in there. You absolutely love to see it. That's Mookie Betts able to get in there and get the steal. So a 3-run home run for Mookie Betts, as well as a stolen base. Here's a guy that is truly having an impact on the day, but not Mac Muncy, though. He is going to strike out to get the 2nd out of the 7th inning. And then Edwin Reyes, he's gonna ground to the 3rd baseman, gonna be thrown out, trying his best to beat it out, but you can only do so much when you have that 38 speed. As now we move into the 8th inning now, another reliever being called out for the Baltimore Stone Crabs. They have really struggled at the plate today, as another insurance run gonna be added on. It seems like Willie Calhoun gonna take this one out deep to right field, and that's another home run. 398 feet this time around. The home run ball really coming through for the Baltimore Quakers, as George Polanco is gonna strike out, as that will now bring up David Fletcher. He's actually 2 for 4 on the day so far, as he actually gets this past the first baseman. They might mess around and give that an error, because that's a ball that could have definitely been fielded, and it will be considered an error, as Jose Iglesias coming up to the plate once again. 0 for 2 so far. Make that 0 for 3 as he strikes out to end the 8th inning though. But Willie Calhoun, though, adding another home run to this ball game. Home runs really coming through for the Boston Quakers, and it's now a 7-2 lead, as it now you only have one job. Gotta do what you can. You're able to hold on to this lead, but not coming down without a fight though, as Mark Malakin gonna go ahead and try to close out the game. Has a pretty comfortable lead to work with as well, but a home run for the Baltimore Stone Crabs, means they're not going down without a fight, but the last out will eventually be made, and the Boston Quakers will win the first game in USBL history by a final score of 7-3. But of course, not all USBL games are going to be as necessarily close as the one that we've seen with the Boston Quakers and the Baltimore Stone Crabs, as the New York Knights actually dismantled the Cleveland Rockers on opening day. Ramon Laureano actually going to be player of the game, batting 2 for 5, and Aaron Sledges getting the win despite only pitching in 5 innings. And then the Minnesota Ducks also going ahead and taking care of business on the Milwaukee Bears. A nice young combination of Fernando Tatis Jr. He ends up batting 3 for 5, has a home run, even gets a double, 3 RBIs too. Luis Castillo, he ended up with 11 strikeouts in this game in 7 innings of action. And that's even going up against Zach Greinke, who's one of the better pitchers in the USBL, but really struggled for sure against the Minnesota Ducks lineup that they're sending out here, to start the season. So now we'll go ahead and transfer out to the western part of the United States as the Phoenix Firebirds are going to go ahead and take on the San Diego Whales here in some more opening day action. Guys, like I said, man, going to be a ton of USBL action here. If you're excited for it as I am, make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and if you have to be brand new as well, as Clayton Kershaw is going to be the opening day starter for the San Diego Whales. But to start off this first inning, not the most efficient necessarily, although he does get the strikeout on Luke Vogt. As now the Phoenix Firebirds, going to see some pitching for Corey Kluber as well. But this could be some trouble. It's going back. It's deep. And it almost leaves the park. But it's going to be maybe a triple here potentially. It is going to be a stand-up triple. Oh my goodness. And that brings up Carlos Correa. Full count here. He strikes out. Unfortunately, 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. Can Fernel Reyes go out and get this get this run in? No, he cannot. He's going to be rung up. He's just window shopping as well because he was just looking. And the Phoenix Firebirds, at least for the time being, gets out of some trouble, but the San Diego Whales offense could be a little bit relentless here as we have another double here to start off the bottom of the second inning. So runner in scoring position. He moves over to third as Brian Hayes now comes up to bat for his first at bat in the USBL season. He takes this one deep out to left field. The only question is if it's fair, and they are going to go ahead and call it fair. A 2-run home run for Brian Hayes. And following Brian Hayes, here comes Anthony Johnson, who was actually one of the custom recruits that came over from the Texas Rangers Dynasty, now here in the USBL, and finds himself as a starter for the San Diego Whales roster, and actually gets himself a ground rule double, which might have bailed Phoenix out a little bit here, to be honest. That could have been stretched out to a triple with the speed that Anthony Johnson has, which you can see on this throw as well. Beats the throw to home, even though it's a not too bad of a throw actually. Might not even had the slide there, to be honest. I know it was a little bit close, but Anthony Johnson able to chip in for a 3-0 lead as Carlos Correa, he gets another base hit out into center field, and that's going to bring in at least one more run as Correa is going to take that opportunity. He's going to round into second base, and he's going to get himself a double as well. We will see if Fernel Reyes, can bring some runs as well. No, he's going to strike out once again, his second strikeout at the plate. But San Diego does add in quite a few runs as a result of it. They're now up 4-0, and that's typically, quite a bit of space that Clayton Kershaw does get to work with, as we have a steal attempt here, but it's going to end the inning though. Catcher doing a phenomenal job. Cornero Castro bringing him down as we just continue to move through this game down the top of the 4th inning. This one could be the first run of the day for the Phoenix Firebirds, as now got a man running the second with a 69 speed. Nice. Safe at second though. And what a hit for the Phoenix Firebirds batter, as Jorge Soler now coming up to the plate now. 0 for 1 so far on the day. Facing a full count 2, but he's going to strike out and leaves a man on second base, unfortunately. So the Phoenix Firebirds still looking for their very first run of the season, but at least Corey Kluber will settling a little bit here in this 4th inning. Strikes out Anthony Johnson, and then we'll also go ahead, at least try to strike out Jake Clubbersworth, but 2-1 count. Mackenzie Francisco, he's going to go ahead and steal second base, and Corey Kluber's day is already done. Jordan Romero is going to go ahead and come into this game now, trying to prevent any more runners from getting on base. as we might have a double play opportunity here to second, but the first baseman misses it, and that's gonna bring in another run for the San Diego Whales. That should have been a tailor-made double play, as Uncle Sam's Rejects always says, but instead it's a 5-0 lead as Trey Mancini comes up to the plate now here. 0 for 2 so far, getting quite a few plate appearances in this game. He's going to be able to get that past the second baseman, and it looks like it's going to be another run here once again. So San Diego Whales continue to extend their lead now, up 6-0, as Anthony Johnson tries to pad the numbers a little bit here as a 1-1 pitch comes out, but hits it right to the first baseman. Hit pretty hard. Love that Anthony Johnson does go ahead, trying to hustle down the first base line, but I mean, he's still going to be called out. Not much you can do when you hit it right to the first baseman, right? But San Diego, they still got a nice 6-0 lead to work with here, although looks like Phoenix is going to finally get themselves on the board here as Jeff McNeil hits a home run for the Phoenix Firebirds. So 1-0 ball game here. Clayton Kershaw giving up the first run of the day, as Kershaw, he's going to go ahead and throw to first base, but throws him off the bag. So an error on the second baseman, that does not help the cause for Clayton Kershaw whatsoever. And the pitch count is running a little bit high here as well, 102 pitches. We'll see if he can survive the rest of this inning, or if they'll go ahead and pull him during that, as Luke Vogt, he's going to strike out once again to Clayton Kershaw. So that's going to bring up AJ Pollock for the full count here. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning, as here comes that full count pitch from Clayton Kershaw, and he's going to ground right to the second baseman, and AJ Pollock certainly cannot beat that out in time. So Clayton Kershaw gives up his first run of the day, but still has a comfortable lead to work with here as well. Certainly still up 6-1, as now we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, see what Mackenzie Francisco has in store. 1 for 3 so far. Strikes out though. Make that 1 for 4. And that will bring up Jake Cronenworth. He's 1 for 2 on the day as well. Jordan Romero, all things considered, not doing too bad. Usually a long reliever. And then it also helps as well when you get some help at the defense. Able to get out of that inning with ease, as Clayton Kershaw will go ahead and be replaced by Colin McHugh, who his first batter is going to be Jorge Soler. 1-2 count, strikes out the first batter that he sees. You love to see that. You always love to see a strikeout in your very first at-bat that you face, as he gets another batter to strike out as well. So 2 strikeouts in a row. We'll see if he can strike out Kyle Farmer and go ahead, strike out the side. Yes, he does. That is some filthy stuff. You'll love to see it. But his appearance doesn't last too long, though, because after 1 inning of play, Andres Munoz will now come into the game, trying to go ahead and close this game out for the Phoenix Firebirds, and that's a good way to get it going here as well. And now they're down to their last out. AJ Pollock trying to keep the game alive just a little bit longer, as he hits this hard out to left field, and it's going to be a home run for AJ Pollock. The first home run of the season, belts that out to 409 feet. But still need 4 more runs if you want to go ahead and keep this game going just a little bit longer. But it looks like it will not last much longer, as the pop up to the catcher is easily caught, and the San Diego Whales, they're going to go ahead and take care of business and win opening day by a final score of 6-2. But we'll go ahead now and shift things back out to the Midwest, where we should have a nice divisional matchup here on opening day. The Aurora Lightning out of Aurora, Illinois, going to a neighboring state, taking on the Indianapolis Indians here in some intense opening day action, as we're going to watch one of the more intriguing pitchers in the USBL, Trevor Bauer. He's the #1 starter for the Indianapolis Indians, and actually just got a huge contract in real life, as gonna go ahead and strike out Asuna to strike things out. He's not gonna go ahead and mess around here early and often, as Anthony Rendon also at the plate, but no match for the slider of Trevor Bauer as well. As we'll go ahead now and take a look at the Aurora Lightning pitcher, Dinelson Lamet, who surprisingly is also doing a pretty good job overall. He goes ahead and gets, one of his first strikeouts of the day. We'll go ahead and also strike out Brian O'Keefe. So we have ourselves a surprising little pitching duel between Dinelson Lamet and Trevor Bauer, as Lamet actually goes ahead and strikes out the side. You absolutely love to see it, as it still remains tied at 0 apiece, and neither team getting anything going. These pitchers, we got ourselves a little bit of a pitching classic here, as we got 2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning. But this could be some trouble, though. It's going to carry out into center field, and it's a 2-run home run for Corey Dickerson. And we finally see our first runs of the game, and it's the Aurora Lightning jumping out to a 2-0 lead here, as we might have some even more runs being scored, but that is going to end up being caught, though. But Corey Dickerson, the designated hitter, because we do have that DH rule on, so no matter if it's the National League or the American League, there always is going to be a designated hitter. So with that being said, we go over to the bottom of the 5th inning, as we'll go ahead and check out Avisol Garcia at the plate. He's currently 0 for 1 on the day so far. Make it 0 for 2, as Garcia just out here looking silly, clownish even, going after that slider. As now Brian O'Keefe, he's gonna take a pitch inside, as we got a steal from Fred Shaver, the first stolen base of the season. As now 1-2 count here again, bottom of the 5th inning. The stolen base does not help whatsoever, as Indianapolis still looking for their first run of this ball game. But that being said, might be able to go ahead and finally make a dent, as we see the bases now being loaded up here, as Lamet is actually going to be pulled at this point. Nick Whitgreen going to now come into the game and trying to go ahead and try to hold him out. Really need to get a strikeout right here, right now on Avisol Garcia. If it gets out into the outfield, this could be a run, but we might have a double play here. Instead, no! Everyone's actually safe, in Indianapolis gets their first run of the game, and Brian O'Keefe has an opportunity to tie this game up, but it gets the strikeout on Nick Whitgreen, and so might be able to get out of this inning, only allowing 1 run. But let's see if Alec Baum might have something to say about it. It's hit deep to left field, and it comes off the wall. That's going to clear up the bases here, as Alec Baum going to go ahead, and he is moving forward, gets that. You'll love to see it. Indianapolis Indians, huge run by Alex Baum, huge swing of the bat, as Andrew McCutchen is going to strike out on the very next at bat. So finally getting out of the inning, but not a good look for the Aurora Lightning. The 2-0 lead evaporating. Now the Indianapolis Indians, they have the advantage, and Diego Castillo now will go ahead and come into the game. And Diego Castillo had a really good year last year too. Sub-2 ERA. That's really good for a reliever. Although, when you got a reliever like that on the mound, you got to make sure, you got to go ahead and, get some help, as Brian Buxton does go ahead and gets the stolen base. So moves him over to second, is now trying to get it up the middle of the field. That's good. 95 speed of Brian Buxton, testing the arm, but he wasn't ready. No. So the Aurora Lightning, thanks to Benito Osuna, who gets his first USBL hit as well as his very first USBL RBI, now just makes it a 1-run game here once again here in the top of the 8th inning, as Osuna, he's going to try to steal as well, and he's going to be safe at second. The first USBL steal for Osuna. So now runners on first and second here a couple batters later, as Anthony Rendon's at the plate, but he's just riding that struggle bus here. He's going to end up striking out again. And the Aurora Lightning, they're going to be stranded a little bit here, potentially. Dylan Floro going to come into the game now for the Indianapolis Indians, as Dominic Smith's up at the plate, tries to at least tie the game up for the Lightning, but striking out swinging though. The Indianapolis Indians will get out of the inning, but only up by 1 run though. Lightning trying to come back, try to storm back, matter of fact, as Evan Marshall now comes to the game and will face Jose Altuve, who hits this one deep out to center field. It's carrying. Is it going to leave the ballpark? Yes, it is. Home run for Jose Altuve, the first home run of the season. So much power and such a little man. Only 5'6". I didn't realize he was that small. I know he's small, but I didn't realize he was that small, matter of fact. Great hit, though, as extends the lead for the Indianapolis Indians to go ahead and make this a, 2-run game. Nice to get that insurance run. Shout out to Jose Altuve for being able to go ahead and doing just that. As Kenley Jensen will now come into the game. He had 11 saves and 13 opportunities last season. He'll get his first shot to go ahead and close this game out here for the first time this season, as he will go ahead. There's a base hit down the left field, and it's nearly caught, but is not going to go ahead and, can't be able to make the catch, unfortunately. And so, runner on second base here, and the tying run potentially in Matt Adams. Now at the plate, 2-2 count. Nobody out just yet. The pitch. Matt Adams swings at it. He's going to strike out swinging, though. And now Brian Buxton coming up to the plate. 2 batters later, 2 outs here. Try to get the game-tying run here. All it takes is 1 swing and a bat. 2-2 count, but Brian Buxton is going to strike out, and the Indianapolis Indians are going to go ahead. They win by a final score of 5-3. As we also go check in on another game that was happening during the Indianapolis-Aurora game out west. The Denver Bald Eagles played host to the Los Angeles Saints, and the Saints just destroyed the nest of the Eagles as they win 15-4. The Bald Eagles, may have had a couple of errors, but look at the hitting by Los Angeles as well. They end up garnering 18 hits in this entire ball game. You absolutely love to see it. As we now head back east to check out another really intriguing matchup here. The Charlotte Cougars going to go ahead and take on the Philadelphia Patriots, who are led by Bryce Harper. Staying in Philadelphia, here, in the transition from the MLB to the USBL, as we'll take a look at the Philadelphia Patriots starting pitcher here on opening day, Max Fried. He's going to start his first at-bat, taking on Tim Anderson. And like I said, man, you love to see it when the first batter you face is a strikeout. Let's see if he can make it 2 strikeouts in a row to start the game, as Joey Votto's up to the plate. He gets him to swing as well. So 2 strikeouts in a row, dare I say it. Can he get 3 strikeouts in 1 inning? I would love to see that. Not necessarily. Instead, it's going to be the exact opposite as Cordera. He's going to go ahead. He's going to actually get the first run of the day in for the Charlotte Cougars. So Charlotte taking an early 1-0 here in the city of brotherly love. As, Mac Fried, a little bit inefficient to start out. 25 pitches already, as Garrett Cooper's up at the plate. And it looks like he might fly out, to the second baseman. So no more damage being done. But Jahmir Conarello getting the first run of the day for the Charlotte Cougars. As we'll go back to the Charlotte Cougars, as Philadelphia could not get anything going in that first inning. This could be a little bit of a spark, though, but is going to be marked safe. As the at-bat for Jurickson Profar is going to continue here, 2-2 count, but is going to strike out to Mac Fried. The first strikeout of the day for the Philadelphia Patriots starting pitcher. Is now full count here, Fried 2, and another strikeout here once again on Tim Anderson. Gets him out of that inning as well. So still remaining a 1-0 game. And speaking of 1-0 games, Ian Happ trying to have something to say about it. Just getting a single, trying to make it a double though, challenging the arm, but had plenty of space. Not a wise base running move for Ian Happ, as it was hit the center fielder. It didn't even get past the center fielder. He tried it. They say you play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I think he learned that the hard way, though. As now we get to the bottom of the third now. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. up at the plate as he gets the first run of the day for the Philadelphia Patriots. Solo shot out to right field, 372 feet. The son of Hall of Famer Vlad Guerrero getting his first home run of the USBL season, as Bryce Harper will go ahead and try to add on to that as well. He's going to hit this one deep as well. This one with a man on base too. It's deep, and he can't rob it. Another home run for the Philadelphia Patriots. Bryce Harper giving the Patriots their first lead of the day. And Shane Bieber, who is starting for the Charlotte Cougars and was off to a really good start too, definitely ran into some trouble in this inning, but he does eventually get out of it though. But the Patriots will take a lead here in, after 3 innings of play. And the crazy thing is, they might go ahead and try to add on to it here as well, as Adley Richardson tries to, swing for the moon and back, but, not going to quite happen for him. But Vlad Guerrero Jr., though, he has something else to say about it. If 1 home run isn't enough for you, how about 2 home runs for you? You love to see it, Vlad Guerrero Jr. You saw the thumbnail, man. When you're on the thumbnail, you did something good. How about the first multi-home run game in USBL history? You'll love to see it, as Shane Bieber, will eventually get out of the 5th inning once again. But Vlad Guerrero Jr., the second home run of the day, accounting for 2 of the 4 runs. Him and Bryce Harper really making a real difference here. So much so that the Charlotte Cougars do end up having to go ahead and get a new pitcher in the game to replace Shane Bieber, as Daniel Ponce de Leon is he strikes out his first batter of the day, as he now goes ahead, faces Justin Upton, gets the same result. So not a bad appearance for the reliever, who has a really long name. As now the Patriots will go ahead, Cody Wheatley will now come into the game as well here, as he faces Gary Sanchez here at the second, as one of his last at-bats of potentially, as it looks like Charlotte's going to bring in another run here, but trying to get the second as well. Gary Sanchez able to extend it out to second base. You love to see it. And Charlotte gets it back down to a 2-run deficit, as Jurickson Profar comes into at bat once again, 0 for 2 on the day. And it's a well-hit ball out to center field, but looks like it just doesn't have enough juice, unfortunately, as brought out that warning track power. But Gary Sanchez does go ahead and at least trims the lead down a little bit, as the Patriots will go ahead and bring in John Barreva, try to set things up here for the 9th inning, facing Jim Anderson in his first batter face. And not a good start for John Barreva. How about a solo shot for Tim Anderson? Again, a huge clutch home run. That only makes it a 1-run game, and it was hit deep too, 434 feet. As Marcell Osuna comes in, he strikes him out as well. But even with that strikeout, they had enough of John Barreva, and they're going to bring in the 21-year-old Alejandro Cepeda, making his USBL debut in a huge moment here, taking on Ian Happ, and strikes him out. How about some ice in the freaking veins? You'll love to see the close game action here in the USBL, as the Charlotte Cougars will come in and bring Blake Parker, as he will try to go ahead and try to keep it a 1-run game. The Patriots have one job and one job only, and try to get a insurance run up to the plate, as DJ LeMahieu is going to be the leadoff guy, and he hits a really nice shot out to center field, gonna make it a double as well. DJ LeMahieu in a really nice spot here. But that being said, can they bring him home though? Bryce Harper is at the plate. He's been pretty solid so far, 1 for 3, and has 2 RBIs off his only home run of the day. But who needs that when we have a steal off a wild pitch? No, DJ LeMahieu, not good base running, and that is gonna kind of stifle the momentum of the Philadelphia Patriots, so they do not get that insurance run that they need. Now Trevor May comes in and trying to close this game out. Only a 1-run lead that could disappear right here, right now. Home run. And looks like this game is all tied up thanks to Jaime Carniero, who had a RBI. He actually had the first RBI of the day here in this ball game. But now it's all tied up at 4 apiece. Does strike out Yohannes Cespedes. And let's see if he can go ahead and get Gary Sanchez out here as well, as we got a broken bat here. Hits it right to the pitcher, Trevor May. But now the Philadelphia Patriots are going to have to come in. Let's see if we can see a game-winning run here potentially, as Blake Parker is still in the game. Going to go ahead and face Justin Upton, who's 0 for 2 on the day so far. The pitch strikes him out though. So 1 out, down, 2 to go before we might see our very first game that goes into extra innings. And the thing about the extra innings here in the USBL, we do not have the extra inning runner. So I mean, it's straight up and down here. And Jesus Aguilera, he strikes out as well. And now there's 2 outs here. Matt Carpenter trying to go ahead and play hero. Batting 1 for 3 so far in the day. Can Blake Parker go ahead and get him out? It's deep to right field. Is that going to do it? No. Just to the warning track. Oh, Matt Carpenter almost had it. Got to swing harder than that. And now we have our first extra innings game here. Trevor May still in the ball game for the Philadelphia Patriots. Strikes out that batter right there. As I'll go ahead and bring up Tim Anderson though. As now full count here. Actually gets the friendly call though. Tim Anderson really was not feeling it. Charlotte will not add any runs in this inning, as Brian Castro will come into this game. 2-2 count facing Joey Votto. Another strikeout here once again. As now the Charlotte Cougars are going to bring in Rowan Wick in the ball game. He saved, he has 4 saves from last season. But this is not a save situation. This is simply to try to extend the game as much as possible, as the very first at-bat of this ball game is hit deep. Adley Rutzman getting the home run, 427 feet. And that's going to be a first walk-off of the series. The Philadelphia Patriots winning by a final score of 5-4. You love to see it. And what you also love to see here as well, the Atlanta Barons and the Jacksonville Suns did face off against each other here on opening day. But the Atlanta Barons, showing the Jacksonville Suns the shed, and they really took them to the woodshed though. They win this game by a final score of 19-4. Jesus Christ. I mean, 24 hits. Not even like Jacksonville didn't have a bad offensive day. 8 hits, 4 runs. That's about average, but defense not there whatsoever. As we'll go ahead and shift back over to the East Coast here. Should be an interesting divisional matchup here, I believe, as the Memphis Bobcats will go ahead and take on the Louisville Colonials here. Should be an interesting NL Central matchup. This, I believe, the second NL Central matchup here on opening day, as Walker Buehler is going to go ahead and start for him. Made 8 starts in the previous season, 3.44 ERA. He's okay, but we'll see if Nico Goodrum, prove that he's not okay, as it looks like there's a double play here potentially, but misses the second baseman by a mile. That should have been a routine double play, but misses it badly though. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite him, as John Birdie will come up to the plate once again here in the top of the 3rd inning. As Birdie, he's going to go ahead and might get the run in actually, depending on how this throw is, as he does get in time. Should have hit that cutoff, man. Should have hit Walker Buehler. If he hit Walker Buehler, we'll have made a closer play at the plate, but instead, John Birdie gets the RBI, and the error that happens, that should have been the end of this inning, by the way. It ends up turning into a run for the Memphis Bobcats. And, Memphis, they come in as the lowest rated team in the USBL in terms of overall from the fantasy draft. They do have a lot of speed on this team overall. But that being said, not a lot of expectations for the Memphis Bobcats. But that being said, they're certainly playing hard right now. And Chris Bryant, he's going to even get a ground rule double, which really bailed him out if you really think about it. That could have been a triple depending on how it bounced off the wall, but because it bounced in, ground rule double, as Chris Bryant is in scoring position and doesn't have to wait very long either. He's going to be brought home as well, and that's going to make it a 2-0 lead here for the Memphis Bobcats as Giancarlo Stanton does bring him home. Let's see if Matt Olson can go ahead and bring Giancarlo Stanton home as well and make this a 3-0 game here in the top of the 4th inning. But Matt Olson is going to go ahead and strike out here. As now got the bases loaded here. A few batters later, 2 outs. Trying to avoid disaster as Nico Goodrum, just a weak grounder, but everyone's going to be safe. Neither Walker Buehler or the catcher reacted in time, so Giancarlo Stanton gets home and makes it a 3-0 game, and it's still the same situation. Bases are loaded with John Birdie, but Birdie is going to strike out in his second at bat in at least 2 innings, but the Memphis Bobcats, they do pull ahead here, leading 3-0 here in the middle of the 4th, and Louisville's got to get on it, man. Memphis, they may not have very high expectations, but in the game of baseball, anybody can beat anyone on any given day. You can't take any days off here. You can't relax. Even if it is a long 162 game season, that's gonna happen over the course of the next 6 months or so. As Jared Walsh is at the plate, he's gonna strike out as well. Nice job striking out the side, by the way. As it looks like Walker Buehler's day is gonna be done actually, and Tyler Alexander is now gonna come into the game here in the 5th inning, so gonna need the bullpen to really work through this. But Mendoza will end up striking out to Tyler Alexander. That's the first batter that he ends up facing here, and they're gonna need a long appearance from Tyler Alexander, probably 2, maybe 3 innings, depending on how the game flow goes here between the Bobcats and the Colonials. But Alexander, though, might be up for the challenge, though. Strikes out Giancarlo Stanton, no small feat, one of the better players in the USBL, but the luck was going to run out eventually, and it looks like it's going to be a solo shot by Kevin Kiermaier. It now makes it a 4-0 lead, as it looks like Gerard Encarnacion going to come up to the plate now, but he is going to go ahead and strike out, though. But Memphis still looking pretty good, a 4-0 game. And matter of fact, Memphis, they're I don't remember who their pitcher was off the jump, but having a surprisingly good day, though. Louisville still has not gotten any hits in this entire ball game. We might have a no-hitter on our hands here, ladies and gentlemen, but that being said, Memphis trying to add on to their lead right now, but can't do it here, as we now cut to James Paxton, who's actually starting for the Memphis Bobcats. He gets a walk, so he had a few walks today, so the perfect game wasn't intact for this point, but it looks like Memphis is going to keep James Paxton in the game, see if he can go ahead and get the no-hitter or not. We'll just have to go ahead and wait and see, as David Peralta, he finally gets the first hit of the day for the Louisville Colonials, and that's going to do it. James Paxton will be pulled after that, and Brad Boxberger will now come into the game, and coming in a pretty bad situation, though. Bases loaded, there's nobody out, and Buster Poser could have potentially tied the game with one swing of the bat, but he's going to end up striking out. But that being said, Louisville is going to end up bringing in Matt Duffy as a pinch hitter, and he batted .250 last season, despite coming off the bench, so he's no slouch himself, and you can see why. Slapping a base hit in the first run of the day for the Louisville Colonials finally happens, courtesy of James Paxton, man, or Matt Duffy. So you love to see that. 4-1 ball game, as Memphis has to go ahead and bring in another pitcher. Juan Mineo is now Trey Turner at the plate, but batting 0 for 3, though. He's been having a difficult day like a lot of Louisville players, but this one's hit out deep to right field. I know it's hit foul and it's going to be called an out, but it looks like Trey Turner is going to do what needs to be done to bring in another run. And we're still at the point where the tying runs at first base, and Quad Wiles could potentially, take the lead here depending on what happens, as Quad Wiles does hit the base hit. What a time to be alive here. Louisville trying to come through with a rally, kind of failing James Paxton, as Quad Wiles does get his first USBL hit, in his career, as well as his first RBI as well. As Charlie Blackmon now comes up to the plate, 0 for 2. Could take the lead here as well with one swing of the at-bat, but he is just window shopping because he strikes out looking. And a huge pitch there as well. Memphis will preserve the lead for the time being, but that being said, it's only a one-run game. Things are getting a lot tighter here as Michael Feliz will now come into the game for the Louisville Colonials. And he's really struggled, at least last season. A few games that he was in there, his ERA was 32. 32 for an ERA. To put that in perspective, that's basically allowing 3.5 runs per inning. Like, that's how bad this guy's been. But Michael Feliz, he's surprisingly coming through so far. Let's see if he can finish this inning out, as he will go up against John Birdie. 2 outs here in the top of the 9th, and gets that strikeout as well. So Michael Feliz comes through in the clutch. And now the pressure's on Lucas Sims to go ahead and save this game. He had 2 opportunities last season, blew both those save chances, as it looks like Lucas Sims, he might be melting under the pressure. Buster Posey, 0 for 3 so far, struck out in the 8th inning as well, but bases loaded. Only 1 out as well. They need to come through right here, right now, or else Memphis might go ahead and lose this game. So here we go, 2-2 count now. Bases loaded. Here comes the pitch from Lucas Sims, and that's going to be hit deep. That might bring 1 runner home at the very least. Looks like it will do just that, and Louisville will go ahead and tie this ball game up. So let's dance right here, right now. Here comes Matt Duffy. He got 1 hit already. Can he be the hero that comes off the bench? 1-2. Pitch coming from Lucas Sims. The pitch! And it looks like Lucas Sims is going to be able to get him out. Hold on tight here, ladies and gentlemen. We are going into extra innings here as well. Memphis and Louisville in a tight one. And like I said, man, we got rid of the extra inning rule because honestly, I kind of think that's stupid, to be 100% real with you. And now it's, straight up and down, who wants to win this game more? As Feliz still in the game facing Giancarlo Stanton. 2-2 count. The pitch strikes out Giancarlo Stanton. Michael Feliz is coming with it. And Memphis does not score any runs in the top of the 9th or top of the 10th inning. As now Louisville will try to respond. Trey Turner at the plate. He's going to strike out to Lucas Sims as well. Now we'll bring up Quad Wiles, who's 1 for 4 so far on the day. 1-2 pitch coming though. He strikes out looking as well. Got fooled there firmly. As now Charlie Blackmon's going to come into the game. See if he can get a 2-out hit or not. And it looks like Charlie Blackmon, one of the better contact hitters in the league, finally comes through here. Took a little bit for him to get going, but the first hit of the game comes at a really crucial time right now, as Jarris Walsh comes to the plate right now here in the bottom of the 10th. Can Lucas Sims keep the game going? And he does. Strikes out Jared Walsh. And now we go into the top of the 11th. JT Romato, he's going to come to the plate, and he hits one deep. It's back, and it is gone like a girl in a country song. JT Romato for 407 feet. And the Memphis Bobcats going to go ahead. And they got a 5-4 lead. As now Marcus Walden actually will come into the game now. And try to at least prevent any more damage from being done. Allow the Colonials maybe a chance to rally here in the bottom of the 11th. And they will end up getting that 3rd out without allowing any more runs from happening. But JT Romato, potentially if a catcher for the Memphis Bobcats, could save the day, and Jesse Biddle could also save the day as well. Only pitched in one game all of last season, but might be able to come in the clutch, maybe get a save opportunity here potentially. But these Colonials are not going to go down without a fight, as a extra base hit here now puts the tying run on second base, as David Peralta is at the plate once again. 2-1 count. The pitch, he's gonna hit a soft grounder out to the second baseman, but that does move the runner to third. So David Peralta at the very least does his job. But can Buster Posey come through here in the clutch? A lot of clutch situations here. Hit by a pitch, sacrifice fly. Can we see something here in the third time around? No! He's going to strike out, and that's going to end the game. And the Memphis Bobcats pull the upset here on opening day. They end up winning this one 5-4 in extra innings. And one of the last games that I want to go ahead and show off here on what has been a really exciting opening day episode is the New Orleans Kings going on the road to play against the Washington Senators. Another divisional matchup, two teams in the NL East going ahead and facing off against each other. And we're going to watch a more intriguing player, Julio Reyes, who is one of the younger pitchers in the USBL. He made 10 starts last year. Goes out, gets the job done. Not a great pitcher, but does what needs to be done in order to win the game. As we go ahead and get to the top of the first inning, there's already 2 outs, but Yordan Alvarez up at the plate, and looks like we're gonna have our first run of this ball game. Alvarez sending this one a moonshot over the brick wall out in right field, 392 feet. And the New Orleans Kings are going to go ahead and strike first in this ball game. Going to go ahead and take an early 1-0 lead, as we do have a strikeout the very next at bat. But solo shot does go ahead and gives New Orleans the very first run of the day. And New Orleans are also going to be rolling out a veteran pitcher in Max Scherzer. He's going to get the opening day start here for the New Orleans Kings, as he strikes out his first batter. We'll be taking on Ketel Marte up in the top of the second inning, though, and he sends this one deep. He's going to get to second base at the very least. Will hold at second, though, but nothing else happening there. So, Washington, they had something decent going, but they could not get any runs scored there. Although New Orleans is going to get on the board here once again. Another solo shot given up by Julio Arias, and it's that's not gonna name. I'm gonna not try not to butcher too much. I would definitely butcher that name. Still learning how to pronounce some of these names here in professional baseball, but that being said, that guy did go ahead and give the New Orleans Kings a 2-0 lead, and the lead could potentially grow a little bit bigger now, as we have a double that's going to bring in Justin Turner, who's 0 for 1 right now. Got a man on second. Let's see if Justin Turner can bring him home potentially, and that might do it. And look at the reaction of the shortstop as that ball was in the air. He already knew from the jump that was going to be a home run as well. 408 feet, and New Orleans gets up 4-0, as Wilmer Flowers as well really putting a dent in Julio Arias, who already has 62 pitches, including 10 pitches in this at-bat. But pitch number 11 finally gets taken out. But the New Orleans Kings off to a really fast start here on opening day, already up 4-0 on the Washington Senators. As we cut to the bottom of the third now, Matt Davidson up at the plate. He gets a nice hit out to right field. It's going deep as well, although almost able to go ahead and make the catch, though. Matt Davidson able to slide in the second, and he is going to be safe. So now here we go. Let's see if Washington can get their first run of the day, as Nick Merngol, he actually just gets it out to first base. But that being said, that's dropped as well. It's an error. You hate to see it. Now there's runners at the corner all of a sudden. Not a good look here whatsoever, but somehow not able to score any runs here still. Washington Senators just having a really difficult day thus far, as now we cut to the top of the 6th inning now. Still a 4-0 game. Ronaldo Lopez is now pitching for the Washington Senators. But that being said, Ronaldo Lopez, giving up that multi-base hit, facing Manuel Marget now, who's currently 1 for 2 on the day so far, as the 1-2 pitch comes in, and he's going to strike out as well. So two strikeouts in that inning. Gonna go ahead and get out of the top of the 6th, though. Still a 4-0 game, but New Orleans trying to make it a 6-0 game as Ronaldo Lopez gonna go ahead and give up a home run himself. Justin Turner giving up getting 2 home runs. That's a 2nd home run of the day, as Alex Bettinger, who's gonna make his first USBL appearance and comes through in the clutch, at least to start things out, gets his first USBL strikeout. Is now top of the 7th once again. 2-2 count, facing Anthony Santander. Is now 1st and 2nd. Gets a little bit of a ground out here, and they will end up getting out of the inning thanks to the pitching of Alex Bettinger. But New Orleans extending that lead even more. And they're now going to be up 6-0 in this ball game, as Max Scherzer, he strikes out another batter here once again. One of his last batters as well, as Connor Brogdon will come in shortly after, because Matt Scherzer, he was running his pitch count really high. And, like I said, man, this is going to be a really long season, 162 games. It's a lot of work that needs to be done. So got to make sure you manage those arms. Make sure guys are staying as fresh as humanly possible. But can Connor Brogdon, might be facing some trouble here. We might see our first run here as he's trying to get home, but he's going to be out by a mile, though. He tried it. He tried to test the arm, but nice job hitting the relay runner and, getting the out as a result of it. As the Kings will now bring in another pitcher here, Ryan Brazier, who comes into the game now. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th, as Washington just trying as hard as they can to go ahead and get any sort of offense going, but it just hasn't happened for them today. They're still down 6-0 in this ball game, as Jordan Alvarez, he's gonna hit another home run. This time there's a man on base, so count it a 2-man home run. And that's the 2nd home run of the day for Jordan Alvarez, as Cesar Valdez will now come into the game now, try to at least close out the top of the 9th inning without allowing anyone else to get home, try to prevent some damage so that Washington can try to make a little bit of a run here in the bottom of the 9th. But even with that double play, Washington, who hasn't scored the entire day, they got a lot of work ahead of them for sure. And that's despite the fact that they've had 8 hits in this game. They just haven't been able to execute when it's all said and done. As now Washington, running out of at-bats here. The strikeout makes it 1 out, so there's only 2 outs left that Washington has to work with. Escobar is also going to strike out here as well, so it's up to Mitch Graver now to go ahead and try and close out, or at least try to keep this game alive. But this ball is hit deep out into left field, and somehow able to get to it. That ball hung up in the air for a really long time, but I mean, New Orleans dominates this game here as well. They win this one by a final score of 8-0. Great day for the Kings. Now, there was also one more game that I wanted to show you guys here in the opening day episode, and it was the Chicago Freeze taking on the San Jose Marauders, and it was a pretty exciting game, especially towards the end. But that being said, we forgot to do one thing. We forgot to request the recording button, so that's on me. San Jose did end up winning this game, though. They win by a final score of 5-2. That's off the back of 4 late runs in the 7th and 8th inning to really carry themselves to victory, and the Chicago Freeze couldn't respond either.